Good afternoon. I'm Anthony Johnson, and I'm the historian for the Singing and Praying Bands of Maryland and Delaware. Today, I just want to take a few moments to talk to you and give you some information about the history of camp meetings. The Singing and Praying Bands of Maryland and Delaware is one of the oldest African American worship traditions. It started over 200 some years ago at the inception of the Methodist Church in America. The singing and praying band tradition is a combination of music as well as worship through prayer. And our singing and praying band tradition actually originated around an event that was called a camp meeting. The songs that we sing were originally camp meeting songs or camp meeting hymns. And a camp meeting is a meeting of a religious body that took place on a quarterly basis or an annual basis. Here in Delaware, camp meetings started in about 1802, right here in Smyrna, Delaware. And it was a time when the entire community would gather, typically in a wooded place, for about a week or so. Folks would circle the wagons and camp. Entire families would be present. Entire communities would be present. In the early days, the covered wagon was the tent for the campers. In the early days, they say in the African American community, many of the tent hangings were in fact the patchwork quilts that you might remember from your mother or your grandmother. Camp meetings were a religious meeting. There would be a week of preaching and revival. And it was a time when members of family would see other members of the family who lived on a nearby farm or a plantation somewhere nearby. But because the entire community stopped all of their activities, they would all be in that one location, and all of their time was dedicated to religious education and worship. One of the great parts of the singing and praying band during the camp meeting revival time was the breaking up of camp or the end of the camp meeting, when many of the African Americans would gather around in a great circle and start singing with great fervor and leading a procession around the entire campsite. Even until today at Frankfort Camp, that tradition still holds, where at the end of a camp meeting, camp is closed out by the prayer meeting members getting together in a circle where they come and they sing hymns and they pray, and then they march around the campsite to close out. Thank you for your time. I hope we left something that you could enjoy. Have a good evening.